Hi guys and welcome to Horologique. Today we will be talking about the Pagani Design 1701, which is a homage, a pronounced homage, to one of the most famous watches by Omega. You know which one I'm talking about. I am here trying to convince you that this watch is heaps better than the overhyped MoonSwatch, and here is why. It is far from a perfect watch, of course, but it does present a lot of advantages when compared to a MoonSwatch. It does have a full stainless steel construction, a mega quartz movement by Seiko, sapphire crystal, and many more things. And of course I will be leaving you a link to this watch where you can buy it for between 80 and 90 euros or dollars. After the hype around the MoonSwatch has dialed down in the last months, we have started to see more and more people speak that it is actually a toy. If you follow Bark and Jack, you know that while he was filming his review, one of his pushers broke. And he was at first very much for the watch, for what it represented at least, and then he was like, this watch is crap. I will actually link to his video on the description below. But of course, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so by clicking on the big button below. In this channel I review entry-level watches and I try to give you the positives and negatives so you can make yourselves an educated choice. But enough about that, let's go right away to the review of this watch. But first of all, you know of course which watch this one is homaging very strongly actually. There's not much originality in this watch, not even in the dimensions. That means that this is a 42.1mm in diameter by a 13.6mm in thickness. Lug to lug is a 48.4mm and lug width is a 20mm. The bracelet, the metal bracelet, tapers from 20 to 18 where it meets the clasp, and at the clasp it goes up to 19.7mm. The watch weighs around 140 grams, size for my 7-inch wrist. And here's how it looks on my 7-inch wrist. As you can see, and unlike what those dimensions suggest, this watch wears big, like the original did, even on mid-sized wrists. Make sure that you have a wrist that can handle this watch. As usual, Pagani Design gives you a lot of specs for a little bit of money. And here, you have got a sapphire crystal with no anti-reflective coating. As you can see in the shots in here, you've got a lot of glare from the crystal, and I believe that is a bit of a pity, and I think that with that slightly domed sapphire crystal it would have benefited a lot from having anti-reflective treatment. As I mentioned, you do get that Japanese Seiko VK63, which is a mecha quartz movement. It means that the mechanism driving the hour is a quartz, ensuring all the accuracy that you need with that. But there's a mechanical module handling the chronograph function. And that is why when you start the chronograph hand sweeps and it does not tick, like is the case on so many other quartz chronographs, including of course the MoonSwatch. As I said before, you've got a full 316 stainless steel construction, bracelet, case back, and case of course. The only spec I couldn't find was about the bezel insert. I could not say if it was ceramic or if it was aluminium. I am tending to go for aluminium, but if you know more, please do let me know in the comments. Another positive about this watch is that they got a lot of the details right. On the subdials you've got all the concentric circles, which are clearly defined. You even have the very famous dot over 90, which so many collectors of the original look after. And when you handle this watch, it just feels well built. It is not, of course, at all at the level of the original, neither should it be for the price, but it is really well built for a $100 watch. Neither the crowns nor the pushers feel like they're going to snap out at the first slight hit. And testament to that is the fact that Pagani Design ensures that this watch is 100-meter water resistant. I do not know if I would believe them, given that the original is only 50-meter water resistant, the MoonSwatch is 30-meter water resistant. Given all these specs, Pagani Design are only asking between $80 and $90 for this watch at the time of the filming of this video. The lume has always been the Achilles heel of Pagani Design watches, but here I was quite surprised to find that in such a watch, the lume is actually not that bad. And I was surprised to wake up in the middle of the night to actually see it still glowing. It doesn't show too much in the footage, but trust me, the lume is quite good. One more thing is the bracelet. The bracelet is a full metal construction. You do not have screws, surprisingly, because usually, even at this price point, Pagani Design do use screws. You only have pins, but they're pretty good quality and they do the job. All the links are solid, even the end links, and surprisingly enough, there are 5 different parts to these links. So good attention to detail from Pagani Design there. The clasp is signed Pagani Design. It is a milled clasp with 3 levels of micro adjustment, and this will get me started talking about the negatives. You have some kind of extension in there, which is pressed, so not good at all, especially because for this kind of watch, you actually do not need at all a diving extension. There's a date wheel at 4:30 that I'm gonna put in the negatives, although it doesn't bother me very much because it is color matched with the rest of the dial, but I guess that most people will find that it further clutters a cluttered dial. Other negatives about this watch will be some slight QC issues, nothing Seiko-ish, but for example the 60 marker on the tachymeter is slightly, very slightly to the right. The writing on the dial is a bit coarse, it is not as well defined as Pagani Design has accustomed us to in other models, and even though this watch is well built and the case and bracelet are pretty good, the finishing on both of them is quite coarse. If you run your finger through the bracelet or through the case back, you will see that not everything is smooth to the touch. There's a bit of coarseness in there. Nothing that will hurt your wrist at all. But it is good to note as well, it is not as pleasant to run your finger on the metal surfaces. So to sum up this watch, yes, it is much better than a MoonSwatch, without the hype, of course, much better built, all metal. Of course, it is not from the same group, but if you do want the feeling of the original, without having €250 plastic toy, breakable plastic toy at that, around your wrist, this is a good option, guys. It will not break the bank, it does offer a lot for what you're paying, if you do not mind homages, of course. Remember that at the current price is only 1.6% of the price of the original, and just around a third of the price of the MoonSwatch. Alright guys, that's been it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. Do leave me your comments below. Again, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, to comment, to share the video, all the good stuff. I do own an original. I will leave you the link to the video that I did at the beginning of the channel ages ago about that watch. It might be fun to compare the both of them at some point. Do let me know if you're interested in that. Thank you again, and I'll be seeing you very soon. Goodbye.